What's good, YouTube? We back with another video, bruh. So in this reaction, bruh, we got JxmyHighroller with another banger using numbers to find the most difficult NBA championship ever won. Now, before we get into this reaction, as y'all can see, I changed the name of this channel. This is now going to be my second channel. I'm still going to be doing the same thing I've always been doing. I just changed the name from DreWrld Reacts to DreWrld Part 2. I do have a main channel. It's going to be my main streaming. I'm going to be streaming every single day on that channel, and I'll be posting 2K content. And when the next console drops, when the Xbox Series X, Series S drop, I'm on it. I'm on it. It's gonna be one of the first niggas to get it. You feel me? So yeah, so make sure you subscribe to both channels, bro, because the content's gonna be skyrocketing. You feel me? Now look. Now look. Now look. Oh yeah. Did I say I was gonna cut down the reactions? But yeah, I'm gonna cut down the reactions a little bit. You feel me? I'm gonna still be doing a lot of reactions. I'm just gonna be chilling out a little bit. You feel me? But yeah, back now. Let's get to this video, bro. Using numbers to find the most difficult championship. Now I'm gonna say the most difficult championship. People say that the bubble, even LeBron said, was the most difficult. Now, when we say most difficult, I think it was difficult as in it was a change. It was a big change. It was different from the actual NBA championships. You feel me? LeBron been to 10 finals, bro. Been in the playoffs every single year, except the 1 year with the Lakers. It was a big change. Now, was it the most difficult? I don't know. It might be difficult because it was a change, a big change. It was different. You feel me? Never been done before. No one was used to it. You know, this dumbass COVID, got everyone scared, and they had to take precautions. You feel me? And it was just a big change. You get what I'm saying? So I don't think that NBA bubble was the most challenging as in the basketball aspect. You feel me? People playing basketball, it was regular pickup game. You feel me? Get all the COVID, what they got to do after the game. Let's talk about inside the game. You feel me? What's going on when they actually playing basketball? It's regular pickup. It's regular pickup. You feel me? There's no crowd. There's people behind walls. You feel me? It's not a big ass dome. You get what I'm saying? It looks like a regular gym. So I think, you feel me, in basketball aspect, it wasn't difficult at all. You got the Heat going crazy. You feel me? No disrespect to the Heat, because the Heat is a great team. You get what I'm saying? But they went all the way to the finals. They dropped off Giannis. They dropped off the Celtics. You feel me? Even though they're a good team, they deserve that, but you get what I'm saying? Devin Booker, the Suns was going crazy. They went undefeated in the bubble, didn't they? Didn't they go undefeated in the bubble? They went undefeated in the bubble. All these other young players were just striding. TJ Warren looking like KD out there. He was looking like a top 5 player. TJ Warren, come on now. You feel me? There's like no pressure. And for the young players, for the teams like that didn't have like the Lakers had the most pressure. You feel me? They was the most favorite. They had high expectations and they pulled through. But if you see what happened, you feel me? Like, I don't think it was the hardest. Now, if you look at what they had to go through before the games and after the games, I don't think it was really that hard either. They don't really gotta do much. They don't gotta travel on planes. You don't gotta worry about the crowds. They don't gotta worry about going back to the family where they have outside distractions. They don't got no type of distractions. All they gotta do is worry about COVID, stay in their rooms, and that was it. You feel me? Now, we don't know what else goes on in there. You feel me? What they go on, what they do on their own time, but But we see that they don't really do much. You feel me? They go play basketball and that's it. Like, I don't think it was the hardest championship. But I just talked for the longest time. Hold up. How long did I just talk for? I'm sorry. I just talked for 5 minutes. I just talked for 5 minutes. Let's get to this video, man. I'm not gonna pause it nothing.
Championship being one of the easiest to win in recent years.
I just talked for 5 minutes. Now let's see what this man has.
To believe. With LeBron claiming his 4th ring, the tone among NBA fans hasn't changed much. Some people love to see it, others don't. This was about as predictable as it gets, hence the title of my last video. With many NBA fans saying this season was so different and unconventional that this particular championship should have an asterisk next to it. Or, as some call it, the Mickey Mouse Rec League Championship. But looking at this from an objective point of view, where does this championship run rank all time in terms of difficulty? What championship team had the hardest run to a title, and which championship team had the easiest
Like,
well, I started this search for the ultimate championship.
no, I'm just gonna pause it. Like, bro, if you look at the, look at last season, okay? Not last season, the season before that, when LeBron was on the Cavs, before he went to the LA. He had some struggles coming out the East. Who did he play in the first round? Pacers or was it Raptors? It was one of those teams. He went to 6 or 7 games. You get what I'm saying? They was going to 6, 7 games with East teams. You get what I'm saying? And then everyone swear that the West was so hard, right? And then the Lakers just blew through it. The Clippers got dropped off. They dropped off Trailblazers that was on fire. They dropped off the Rockets, like, cause they got LeBron and AD, 2 top 5 players, and they was just playing pickup ball. And the other teams, bro, no one showed up. I don't think that this season was the hardest. I think LeBron was capping.
This stat measures a team's margin of victory throughout the season adjusted for strength of schedule. Basically, this stat quantifies how good a team is. For example, this season the Bucks had the highest SRS in the entire league of 9.41, followed by the Clippers, Lakers, and Raptors. Just like any other stat,
I don't know why the Bucks is that high. They don't have anyone. They only got Giannis.
Or terrible a team
I know,
is.
bro.
He then added up the total SRS values for every team that
Giannis literally carries that team, and then in the playoffs, no one steps up.
In 2017, the Warriors beat the Blazers, Jazz, Spurs, and Cavaliers. Add up the SRS scores for each of those teams, and the difficulty of the Warriors' 2017 championship run is 13.77. So now that we understand how this all works,
if you shop on Amazon, you should use Wikibuy. It's a browser extension that automatically.
Here's the list of championship runs ranked in terms of difficulty, with the 1995 Rockets having the most difficult path to a championship and the 1987 Lakers having the easiest path.
Wait, what's 2020 at?
This list
All the way down to 35.
Since that is when the 16-team playoff system was introduced. So, with the last 37 championship teams,
Look at Lakers 2002,
Lakers land
Mavericks 2011.
at 35th. In the last 37 seasons, only 2 championship teams faced easier competition than the Lakers faced in this
Heat
season.
2013.
In the
Ooh.
last video I talked about how the Lakers' path to a title this season was no easier than any other championship teams. And I literally could not have been more wrong. Not only was their path easy, it was nearly the easiest path of the last 37 seasons. But let's take a deeper look.
Spurs 2014, number 8. Raptors 2019, yes sir.
Of the top 5 most difficult
Kobe.
paths to a championship. That is unbelievable.
Rockets 1995.
In 2001, the Lakers nearly swept the playoffs, going 15-1, while facing the second most difficult opponents in the process. So if you've ever wondered what team was the most dominant in the last 35 seasons, I think there is your answer. Now, if we highlight each decade, then we can see which 10-year span featured the most difficult runs to a championship. And for the most part, each decade had similar levels of difficulty, except the 80s. But this was because for most of the 80s, the league only had 23 teams, which meant a 16-team playoff format featured many teams with losing records. Simply put, the league was still good, but it was super top-heavy with bad teams making the playoffs. With that being said, it's still shocking just how easy it was to get deep into the playoffs in the 80s. So, you know how the NBA has been a bit one-sided?
I ain't know that. I ain't know that. No cap. I ain't know that. Only 23 teams? I ain't know that.
Highlights just that. When
If you run ads online, I can get your customers 52%.
Wait till I get ads. Imagine.
The most difficult path to a championship using SRS scores on the y-axis, you
East,
can see
West.
that the West has won 4 of the 5 toughest championships since 1984. The West has also won 12 of the 20 most difficult titles in the last 37 seasons. 4 of those 8 titles from the East coming at the hands of Michael Jordan and the Bulls. Here are Michael Jordan's 6 titles. Here are Kobe's 5 championships. Every single one of them having a very high degree of difficulty. And here are LeBron's 4 championships. Now, strictly considering how challenging each of these championship runs were, which collection of championships looks more impressive? At face value, Kobe's rings are easily the greatest collection of tough titles in the modern NBA. Now consider the fact
Look at LeBron shit. Look at the GOATs. You feel me? Come on now. I respect that Cavs joint. You feel me? That joint was hard, but
Johnson's last 3 championships.
oh,
I've said it before, and I cannot stress this enough. Not every championship is built the same. And when you start considering other variables like who did they play with, was there any significant injuries, and how well did they play in the finals, you begin to see just how ridiculous it is to base the foundation of your GOAT debate on purely how many rings a player has.
right.
Most would agree that 5 rings beats 4. But what if the 5 rings were won on a relatively easy path, while the 4 were won on a more difficult path? And before we move on, I just want to point out that this era of the NBA, the 90s and early 2000s, was easily the most competitive time in basketball.
On God.
Something to think about. So
On
after
God.
seeing just how different each title run can be, one surprising aspect of this experiment that jumped out at me was the fact that the best 2 teams don't always end up in the finals. In fact, rarely do the best 2 teams end up in the finals. For example, in the 2001 playoffs, the Lakers faced off against the 76ers in the finals. This was possibly the biggest finals mismatch in recent history. But
Allen Iverson can't do anything.
However, just how big of a mismatch this was is absurd. On their path to the finals, the Lakers beat the Blazers, the Kings, and the Spurs. All of these teams had a higher SRS score than the 76ers. Of course, this is a rather simple metric to grade how good a team is, but it is not a stretch to say that the Lakers faced better teams at every stage leading up to the finals than they did in the finals. In 2018, the Warriors beat the Spurs, the Pelicans, and the Rockets on their way to the finals to face the Cavs, each of these Western Conference teams being statistically better than the Cavaliers. So
Wait, the Pelicans went to the second round? I didn't know that.
eliminated before the finals.
I forgot.
And made the finals if they were just in a different conference. How many NBA championships were decided in the Western Conference? This is why, although I'm a certified LeBron fanboy, I don't put as much weight into his 10 finals appearances as other fans. I have to consider the fact that during those finals runs, the East was considerably worse than the West.
Yes, sir.
If LeBron and the Cavs were in the West, they may not have even saw the finals. So just how
Oh, God.
easy was the Lakers' path to a championship this season? Quite frankly, it was historically easy. But the craziest part about all of this
Told
is
y'all.
that in 20 years,
Told y'all.
no one will care about the details. Just
No
like
one.
how no one cares that 3 of Magic's 5 rings were won on easy paths. Just like how the 99 Spurs snagged a relatively easy ring during the most difficult era of the NBA. Just like how MJ's path to his first 2 rings were immensely easier than the path to his last 4. It doesn't matter because it doesn't change anything. Regardless of how you get it, a ring is still a ring. And although they aren't all built the same, they all shine just as bright. Hope you all enjoyed, and as always, until next time.
Well, I just want to say that all the points he made was correct, but I'm going to say this, and off the video with this, to get y'all niggas heated. LeBron is not the GOAT. Kobe and MJ is over him. Simple.